The 2014 film Lucy, it is a bit nonsensical and it's absurd on a lot of levels. Now, when this movie first came out years ago, I enjoyed it, but nowadays I find this movie real boring and stupid, to be honest. You know, I have to say this movie is weird, but not in a good way. Over the years, I always had an issue with this movie simply because of the ridiculous premise. So the story is Lucy, who is a college woman studying in Taiwan, she gains psychokinetic abilities when a psychedelic drug is absorbed in her bloodstream. And well, from there, the movie goes off the rails real fast. And then I had to ask myself, who came up with this script? Why is it terrible? Why am I bored in certain parts of this movie? I'll tell you why, because the people who made this film didn't give this one a whole lot of thought. To make matters even worse, there's a lack of characterization, especially for the main character, Lucy. And not just that, but the ending is so stupid. It made me think why they thought this was an interesting ending anyway. Seriously, she's supposedly using 100% of her brain power, and then she's become one with the universe or whatever. There's just some odd sequences all throughout this film. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, if you haven't seen this movie, you can check it out, but don't expect a whole lot. This movie tried too hard to be smart and ended up being really dumb. I mean, despite the ridiculousness of Lucy's abilities all throughout the film, potentially unlocking 100% of her brain power, which is ludicrous because we all use 100% of our brain power. That 10% is just a myth. But in this movie, they want to act like, oh, it's a big mystery, but I just couldn't stay tuned in to this movie all that well. Like, really, the story is all over the damn place. It's not coherent. But one thing I will say I did like about this movie was Scarlett Johansson portrayal of the character. She did all right. We don't know much about Lucy, obviously. If this movie was more than 90 minutes, we could know a lot about the character. But no, we spent 9 minutes seeing Lucy doing all these telekinetic things, which looks kind of cool, I admit. But for a sci-fi film, you have to have more than that. You have to have a great story. And this one, the story is just, well, what can I say? The story in this movie does not do it for me. And then Morgan Freeman plays a professor in this movie. He's like not there really. Like he gives his performance, but it's nothing extraordinary. I see Morgan Freeman act better in other films. But in this one, he's just, well, he's being a professor. What else can I say? And then you have a cop in this movie. And well, he's there, but he doesn't do a whole lot. And for everything I tried to think about this film over the years, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the grand scheme of things. But when it comes to sci-fi movies, there are worser ones out there, obviously. It's just this one right here, it loses my attention like for the first 30 minutes. And then for the rest of the movie, I'm like, what the hell's going on? What this has to do with the whole entire film? Like I mentioned before, the concept seems interesting, but at the end of the day, it turned out to be quite a terrible film in my opinion. I'm giving this film a 5 out of 10. Yeah, this is a dumpster fire because there is lack of emotional interest in these characters, especially Lucy. How much potential this film could have had. I tried to get invested with this story. I tried to think about it so much over the years, but it's an incoherent mess, and the story is just downright awful. Really, I have talked to people over the years about this film. Some liked it, others hate it, but for me, this film is a waste of time and a forgettable movie in my opinion. And that's my review of the movie Lucy. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this film. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.
To walk through all together. But when you closed your eyes, it was then I realized you were so far away. There was nothing I could do to stop you feeling blue. anyway.